Welcome everyone. Agatha All Along episode turns up the heat, and we are not just talking about the fire trail. Rio Vidal is officially joining the party, and while the Coven treads new ground, she and Agatha spend much of it retreating well-worn paths. While this episode gives us some answers, particularly concerning Alice's tragic backstory, it raises a lot more questions surrounding Rio and Agatha's past as well as the teen of it all. Let's get into it. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos and watch out for spoilers if you haven't seen the episode yet. Episode 4 confirms Sharon's head did indeed roll after the water trial. Most of the Coven are mourning her, but Agatha couldn't care less. Everyone pretty upset with her for this, but come on, don't tell me you have never wished one of the partners in your group project would bite the dust. Agatha reminds them that they only needed the whole coven to access the road. Once they are here, it doesn't matter if they are casualties. After all, only one witch left with her last time. The coven start a rematch of the blamed game they started when the road wouldn't open. Now arguing about whose fault it is Sharon didn't make it. Teen who's lovingly digging grave for Sharon and adoring with the flowers interrupts and tells them they are all at fault for not looking out for each other. The excitement he felt when they first got into the road is gone. Now he just wants to go home. They decided to channel this energy into something more productive by attempting to summon a replacement Green Witch. Is that actually allowed? Who cares? They are all covenantless witches and by extension rule breakers. Teen cracks open his spell book and they get to work. Lilia hopes the newbie will be strong, wise and good at her craft. Agatha hopes she is smart, not annoying and not super political. Jen basically wants her to be hot, and Alice is just hoping for her to bring some at will. With a wave of her hand, their prayers are answered, but be careful what you wish for is a phrase for a reason. Who crawls out the ground but Rio Vidal? Surprise, my lady, she says, offering Agatha a flower. Agatha immediately lunges at her. Couple calls. The rest of the coven toes and the line between being attracted to and terrified of her. And they should be considering Rio is unhinged, whistling, hopping around, and clarifying that she is less a green witch and more the green witch in a truly dramatic voice. The coven debates whether they can trust her and decide that the fact that Agatha hates her is probably a plus. Teen goes straight to the person who knows the best, asking Agatha if they are in more trouble now that Rio is here, but she pulls a Meredith marks and disengages. Lilia reminds Alice that her mum could still be out there on the road somewhere, but Alice reveals that's an urban legend. The truth is, her mother died in a hotel fire while on tour, but always told Alice that the road would save her. It's clear Alice struggles to talk about this, as she refused to put a squabble between Jen and Agatha to bed when they argue over the lyrics of the ballad, even though she would know best since her mother wrote the most popular version of the song. Unfortunately for Alice, life has a funny way of forcing you to confront what you want to least. Another house shows up, one Alice knows is for her, and despite the fact she would rather do just about anything than go inside, she can't escape it. Seeing the waxing moon face on the door, they realize they are naturally at a fire trial. That's pretty sick and twisted, but at least they all get some really cool 70s rock costumes out of it. Once they get inside this pinnacle of architecture, they split up to look around for another clue. Lily and Jen seem to have some strong emotional reaction while looking at the trippy art on the wall, and Alice is drawn to a photograph of her mom. Lorna once trying to open the road with her concert. Her fans were her coven. It looked glamorous, but everything wasn't as it seemed, as they had to keep selling things in order to keep a roof over their heads. When Alice was a child, Lilia has another vision, blurting. Alice don't. But Alice doesn't understand what she is talking about, and neither does Lilia herself. Rio is trying to flirt from the jump, but Agatha isn't having it, brushing her off. Rio eventually follows her into a control room, revealing that she is growing impatient and wants to cause some damage. Agatha tells her she is too early, annoyed that she is now tagging along, but Rio doesn't have a choice when a witch summons her down or up. Rio questions why she brought the boy along, and Agatha makes some lame excuse about having many hands. Agatha then switches gears to the fawning technique she displayed during their fight in Agnes' house. Maybe the road is like a Switzerland, she says, pitching that they call a truce and have a big adventure like old times. Work and play could be nice, right? She just needs the rest of the switches to get her to the end of the road. Rio can tell her what happens next. Agatha secretly turns on the intercom so everyone in the main room can hear, attempting to expose Rio's plan. Rio suggests that Agatha kill the switches, she gets her power, and Rio gets her bodies. Perfect, right? The Coven is understandably not too happy that the duo is seemingly in cahoot and planning to pick them off one by one, which makes us for a clear strategy on Agatha's part. Hey, that's my Coven you're talking about? I'm not that kind of witch anymore. She dramatically cries for added effect, always a performer. Before the Coven can get into deep into another fight, Teen makes their ears bleed by playing a record. They quickly discover that it's not just any record, it's Lorna Wu's version of the Ballad of the Witch's Road. The reason it sounds like a garbage is that the record is playing backwards. As the metronome starts, the timer does too, with their second trial officially beginning. Everyone is losing their minds, everyone except Rio, who's smiling. The Coven debates whether she is a tourist or a complete psycho. To make it matters worse, they all begin to get burns on their shoulders, with the only one way to stay safe being for them to draw a circle and stand in it. Agatha accuses Alice of infecting them all with their curse, and she cries. She didn't think it was real, but this is a proof that it is. This is why she can't keep a job and why she ruins everything she touches. This is why she couldn't save her mother. And she spot on her shoulder was never a birthmark at all. It was a generational curse, with her mother having an identical blemish in the exact same spot. Luna knew firsthand how traumatic this could be, and her version of the ballad was a protection spell with her intention to save her daughter. She made such a powerful bob, it ensured that somewhere in the world someone would always be playing it. It doesn't get more rock and roll than that. Escalate quickly from here, with the teen going flying through the wall. The only way to save themselves is for them to get their dysfunctional little band back together and play Lorna bangers this time. They each grab an instrument and play this version of the ballad even while fires blaze around them. Alice sees the curse manifested as a truly terrifying creature with wings and becomes determined to kill it with the power of a song. Even as the creepy thing sets on her fire, after singing for their lives, the monster is expelled and the top of the piano opens, allowing them to escape. An upgrade from the oven for sure. Their exit celebration is short-lived when it looks like Teen might join Sharon's on Witch's Road in the sky. He is in rough shape, dropping to the ground and bleeding. Agatha freaks out, tearfully pleading with Rio not to do something by simply saying, "Don't." They scramble to assemble some ingredients for Jen to make healing potion, and lo and behold, it works, with the teen's injuries getting miraculously patched up. Though from a look Agatha and Rio share, I am awfully suspicious the latter has more to do with that than Jen's alchemy. No offense, Lilia also sees the Three of Swords. The Coven has a little slumber particle talk around a campfire. Jen talks about being an 11th generation root worker and midwife, lamenting about the day she lost her power. She was invited to the obstetric associations of Greater Boston to share expertise, but it turned out to be a trap. She still doesn't know how the man who bowed her did so without magic. Alice reveals that when her mum died, she stopped believing everything she taught her because she was so angry. She hoped the road wasn't real, so she could stay that way. But now that she knows everything her mom did was for her, she is sad. Sad is better than angry, Lilia assures her before once again, ranting against the misconceptions surrounding witches. Meanwhile, Agatha watches over Teen. When he wakes up, he asks her if she is the one who put the sigil on him. She denies this once again, before admitting there is no way she could actually know for sure. The sigils work on the witch that cast them too, which means they are super irritating. What's more, sigils are destroyed, not lifted, when they are no longer needed. Despite this, Agatha tells Teen that you don't have to know someone's name to know who they are. Careful you don't say something nice to me. Tin quips. It's a sweet moment that, of course, doesn't last long. The moment Tin dares to ask what really happened to her son, Agatha close up, her cold demeanor returning once again as she leaves him to join the rest of the group. When they ask how he is, she simply states mouthy, which they all think is a pretty good sign. They invite her to share her own battle scars and she shows them one of a knitting needle she took to the elbow while fighting the Daughters of Liberty. When the group admits they have never heard of them, she replies, exactly, which makes them all laugh. Agatha is clearly not used to this kind of camaraderie, as her own laugh is awkward as a hell and extremely forced. It doesn't help that Rio is sulking throughout the conversation. She admits she has a scar too, which Agatha immediately and confidently clocks as a lie. Agatha seems to be very familiar with her body of work. Rio explains that she loved someone and hurt them by doing something that she didn't want to do, even though it was her job. She is my scar, she states, overwhelmed with emotion. Agatha has to get up and walk away. Rio follows her, but not before Lilia reminds her she hasn't forgotten what she said in the control room. Lilia got her eyes on her. Rio doesn't love this, giving her a feral hiss. Once Rio finds Agatha, they share a long, intimate hug. Agatha brushes her hair back, and it looks like she is about to go for a kiss before Rio stops her. That boy isn't yours, she tells her, voice firm but soft. Agatha pulls away, giving her an unreliable smile before walking away once more. What a cliffhanger. Don't get me wrong, I miss Sharon, but I quite missed Rio since we last saw her in a pilot, and I am so glad it looks like she is with the group for good. Though whether she is actually on their side remains to be seen. Agatha's dynamic with Rio and Tin remain the most intriguing parts of the shows for me, but despite the stellar costumes and incredible music, this trial itself fell a little flat. Though fun in concept, it doesn't feel like we spent enough time on the task itself, resulting in something that feels more disjointed and rushed than the potion making, culminating in a less suspenseful experience all around. That said, what it lacked in a plot, it made up for in character. That scene around that fire feels like that's the what this show is all about. And I hope there are more opportunity to slow down and live with the characters in the futures. I also hope we get more complications and chances to connect with Alice and her story. Despite this being her trial, she still feels a bit removed and distant from the rest of the group, relegated to the background with all the big personalities surrounding her. And Lilia deserves a chance to shine. If you find any reference during the episode that I didn't talk about in the video, please write them down in the comments.